What if the 2024 US election ended in a tie between Trump and Biden? As you ponder on your answer, just take a few seconds and imagine it's November, election night 2024. The nation is on edge, and then the results come in. It's a tie between Trump and Biden. This isn't like a soccer game where a draw means each team gets a point. Here, both sides want to win, and win decisively. Suddenly, America is thrust into uncharted territory, with neither side willing to concede. The news cycles become dominated by this unprecedented spectacle, with each candidate making impassioned pleas to the public. Social media erupts into a frenzy of opinions and arguments, while family dinner tables turn into battlegrounds. The country feels more divided than ever, as everyone takes sides in this high-stakes political drama. What would this mean for us? Would the fight for power lead to endless legal battles, protests, and maybe even violence? The economy could be thrown into turmoil, and our global allies and adversaries would be watching closely, wondering what comes next. The implications are vast and could shape the future of the United States in ways we can't even imagine. Let's dive into the potential fallout of this epic political standoff. This perpetual conflict between two political titans would bring significant challenges. The endless legal battles and recounts could lead to widespread voter fatigue and disenchantment with the democratic process. People might start questioning the integrity of the election system, leading to a crisis of confidence in our institutions. Economic instability could arise as markets react to the uncertainty, affecting jobs, investments, and everyday financial decisions. Internationally, America's rivals might exploit the chaos, while allies could lose trust in our leadership. Domestically, the polarization could deepen, resulting in more protests and potentially even violence, as both sides rally their most fervent supporters. Communities could become further divided, with the constant political tension seeping into workplaces, schools, and social circles. The stress and uncertainty would take a toll on mental health, making it harder for people to find common ground. In this scenario, the very fabric of American society could be stretched to its limits, testing our resilience and unity like never before. Now, let's dive deeper into how this ongoing feud between Trump and Biden could impact policies, public opinion, and the political landscape. This conflict isn't just a political spectacle. It would have real, tangible effects on the country and its citizens. First and foremost, let's talk about policies. In a scenario where Trump and Biden are locked in a never-ending battle, the legislative process could grind to a halt. With both sides entrenched and refusing to compromise, passing new laws or amending existing ones would become nearly impossible. Imagine crucial issues like healthcare reform, immigration policy, and climate change initiatives stuck in an endless limbo. Americans rely on the government to address these pressing matters, but the gridlock would mean no progress is made. Think about the healthcare debate. Whether you support expanding coverage or reducing costs, nothing would move forward. This stalemate could leave millions of Americans without access to affordable healthcare. The economic impact would be profound as well. Businesses thrive on stability and predictability, but the continuous conflict would create an environment of uncertainty. The stock market could experience increased volatility, with investors unsure about the future direction of the country. This uncertainty could lead to a slowdown in economic growth, affecting jobs and wages. Small businesses, which are the backbone of the American economy, might struggle to survive in such an unstable climate. Think about the impact on everyday Americans. People might delay making big financial decisions, like buying a house or starting a new business, due to the unpredictable economic environment. This hesitation could slow down economic recovery and growth, affecting everyone from young professionals to retirees. The ongoing feud would also have a significant impact on public opinion and trust in the political system. Americans are already polarized, but this scenario could push that division to new extremes. With both Trump and Biden constantly in the spotlight, their supporters would become more entrenched in their views, making it harder to find common ground. This deepening divide could lead to a crisis of confidence in democratic institutions. When people start believing that their votes don't count or that the system is rigged, they lose faith in the very foundation of democracy. Voter turnout could decline as people become disillusioned with the process, feeling that their participation doesn't matter in the face of such entrenched conflict. Young people who are just starting to engage with the political process might become cynical and disengaged. Instead of feeling empowered to make a difference, they could feel that their efforts are futile. This loss of faith in democracy could have long-term consequences for civic engagement and public participation. The political scene itself would undergo significant changes. The feud could give rise to more extreme factions within both parties, as moderates find it increasingly difficult to navigate the polarized environment. This could lead to the emergence of more radical candidates, further worsening the divide. For instance, within the Republican Party, Trump's continued influence could embolden more populist and nationalist elements. These factions might push the party further to the right, alienating moderate conservatives. On the Democratic side, Biden's ongoing battle could strengthen progressive voices demanding more radical changes. This shift could push the party further left, leaving centrist Democrats feeling marginalized. The social consequences of this feud would be significant as well. The constant political tension would affect everyday life, affecting relationships and communities. Family gatherings, once a time for unity and togetherness, could become plagued with political arguments. Friendships might be strained or even broken over differing political views. Social media, already a hotbed of political debate, could become even more toxic. The spread of misinformation and fake news could escalate, further distorting public perception and deepening the divide. The legal and constitutional challenges of a tie in the presidential election would be immense. The Constitution provides some guidance for resolving electoral disputes, but a situation of this magnitude would push those mechanisms to their limits. The role of the Supreme Court would become crucial, and its decisions could have far-reaching consequences for the interpretation of electoral laws and the balance of power. Legal battles over recounts, voter fraud allegations, and the legitimacy of the results could drag on for months, if not years. This prolonged uncertainty would strain the judicial system and could lead to widespread protests and unrest. The very foundation of the American legal system could be tested as it tries to navigate this unprecedented situation. The potential for civil unrest in this scenario is high, with both sides refusing to concede and their supporters feeling increasingly disenfranchised. Protests and demonstrations could become more frequent and intense. The risk of these protests turning violent would be significant, leading to clashes with law enforcement and further destabilizing communities. Local governments and law enforcement agencies will be impacted. They would be tasked with maintaining order in an increasingly volatile environment, straining their resources and capabilities. The potential for violence could lead to a heightened state of alert, affecting the daily lives of citizens and increasing the sense of fear and insecurity. While a tie is damaging, ask yourself, could anything be worse? Sit back for a moment and imagine that Trump and Biden's rivalry hits an all-time high. A controversial Supreme Court decision on the election sparks massive outrage. Trump, claiming the decision is fraudulent, calls his supporters and takes to the streets and fight for their vision of America. Biden, steadfast in his belief in the democratic process, urges his followers to defend democracy and the rule of law. Protests erupt nationwide, escalating into violent clashes between opposing factions. Cities are engulfed in chaos, with the National Guard struggling to maintain order. The nation teeters on the brink of a civil conflict, as the deep-seated rivalry between Trump and Biden threatens to rip the country apart. America faces an unprecedented crisis, with the very foundation of the nation at risk. Basically, a never-ending battle between Trump and Biden would be disastrous. The more we think about it, the worse it becomes. Important policies would be stuck, the economy would be unstable, and people would lose trust in the political system. America's global reputation would take a hit, and there could be legal chaos and civil unrest. Everything we have been saying in the last few minutes shows why unity and cooperation are so important. We need to bridge our divides and work together to solve our problems. We are seeking a better future for America, and this should be the goal of everyone. Only by coming together can we secure a stable and prosperous future for everyone. Finally, here is a question for you. What do you think about the potential consequences of a never-ending battle between Trump and Biden? Share your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. Don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking content and stay informed on the issues that matter most.